Hey everyone, welcome to the October Ripple recap. How are you doing, Cynthia?
I'm doing great. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. I'm excited about the happy Halloween too. We're doing this on Halloween. So just for you,
Yeah.
I wore this Star Wars
Oh,
Halloween shirt. So
I love it.
just just to have a little fun here at the office. But we wanted to make this video just to kind of recap all the great stuff that we did in October. When I look back over this past weekend about all the things that we just packed into this month, it was pretty amazing.
It was a really amazing month. We had amazing guests for our masterclass and all of our other events and things. And I think this is just a really great month to share with people.
Absolutely. Well, I thought it was great that we could share this with our members, but also for perhaps people that are curious about the Ripple membership, what that would look like and what they would get if they were to become a member, right? So, even though September and October have passed us by, the content that we have had in these months is never going away. It's there for a year, right? So, anybody who joins after that point, they never have to worry. They can go back and absorb some of that great content at their leisure.
Yeah, no more fear of missing out
Yeah.
because we keep it there for a good long time, and then next year we'll replace September with a new September.
Yep.
So there will always perpetually be 12 months of content in it once we've made it through the first 12 months.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about October though. What was all the great stuff that we did in October? Do you want to share
Yeah,
share your screen here a little bit?
yeah. I think the best way is to show everyone. So let me see if I can share my screen. Yeah, so this is our very humble member area. We're keeping it really like super refined and simple, and this should be really easy to follow. But we start out each month. This video at the top is a video that you do. It's just maybe a few minutes to introduce the new theme of the month, and then we highlight what's new during the month in this top section. But the magical part of the membership is down here in the member assets area. And I want to just jump right into October. As you can see, September lives here too. And then
Yep.
there's a couple of other things we can talk about later. But I just want to jump right into October because this is the good stuff. So when you click on this area, now you're in what our platform calls a category for October. And the theme is who are you? And we have this practice field area, we have a masterclass area, and we have the workshops and events area. And really just starting off to talk about the masterclass because wow, I just love Jeffrey Davis and what how he contributed to our conversation in this masterclass that he did about discovering your young genius. I just really enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, he did a phenomenal job. In fact, we've had so many great comments from our members about how much they took from that class, and of course, Lynn Smith's class last month in September as well. But Jeffrey really brought the content. He really delivered a phenomenal class that really got you thinking, and it was just jam packed with some amazing ideas. And so I'm super jazzed and excited about people going in and kind of re-exploring. I've heard from at least one or two members that have gone back to the class a few times and taken some additional notes and captured some additional ideas. So that's the whole purpose of what we're trying to do with these master classes. Make them a resource, create some valuable content with some really phenomenal subject matter experts.
Yeah, and he talks about the six facets of wonder, which I thought was really interesting. And then also this concept of remember, recognize, activate, and reclaim your young genius. Because as we become responsible adults, I think we forget, right?
Yes.
So I thought that was really keen and something I connected to. Of course, one thing new that we did in October was at the end of the masterclass when you're recording these with people, you do a little Q&A session with them at the end, just completely unscripted, like just you and our guest teacher talking and going deeper with the subject. And this time around, we separated that from the main masterclass and we dripped it out a little bit afterwards, because I think it's overwhelming when you come into a new month and there's all this new content. So we just wanted to kind of spread out the experience. So that was something we dabbled with in October and I think worked really quite well.
Yeah.
And then I think posted some additional resources that Jeffrey offers too. So it's, I think, really cool when we get a guest teacher who has things they want to share, maybe exclusive to our membership, PDFs or worksheets, even just special offers on some of the things they're already doing. That was really, he was such a generous guest for us in October.
Yep.
Let's go back up. We start the month this intentional anchoring, and I'll just click through so you can see that this is what that looks like. There's a video here. Man, Diana just has an energy about her that's so positive and calming. And I always love when she brings poetry. She's just a really great reader, and she brings just the right poem to kind of spritz the air with the perfume of that poem. And it's such a lovely experience to start the month with, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she is phenomenal, and it has been amazing what a great resource that those sessions are, right? At the end of the day, it's really designed to sort of anchor the theme for the month. And, this particular session that she did in October was just, I mean, she knocked it out of the park. But again, it's one of those things that I think people can come back to over and over again. The stress of the day, maybe trying to, quiet your mind a little bit, so, sort of overcome maybe something that's not going so well at work on that particular day. This session is a great one to come back and just kind of, reset mentally and physically. And she does such a great job of, weaving in a lesson relative to, the theme, but also just reminding us that we sometimes have to take that pause and we have to take a step back a little bit and quiet the mind so that we can refocus and kind of go on about our day and take on the world. So it's a great session. And it's the perfect way to kick off each month.
Oh, totally agree. I want to point out too, while we're here, just a couple of ways that we navigate around in the member area. One is this address bar at the top. You can kind of, go back in the address, kind of go back to the practice field, go back to categories, go back to the main membership area by using this little clickable address bar at the top. And then you can also access the other items in the practice field area on this menu over here. So it wants to behave a little bit like a course, like, here's step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a course. You can access this content in any order you want. So you can just, like a buffet, kind of go and just, dabble in what looks good that day and then come back and dabble in something else. The next thing that we put in the practice field for October was this unique strengths inventory. And this is something that I put together based on an experience that I had at a company that I worked for years ago. And it was just such a really great way to get to know your strengths, is really to go out into the world and ask people about yourself. And so this was a challenge, I know, because you have to kind of get brave to go out and ask people some questions. But it's like you're going out into the world and people who generally know you. I mean, they don't have to know you like your mother knows you, but anyone who has an experience of you as a person, you can ask them some simple questions. It's all in this PDFs that you can print out and take with you and save and do with what you like. But you think you know what people are going to say about you until you do this exercise, and then you're surprised at what people really will tell you about yourself. So it's eye-opening and something that you can do more than once, because maybe you meet new people, so they have a different experience of you, or maybe you change over time. So I just thought it was a perfect exercise for this month's theme.
Yeah, we actually, I had somebody that I won't call them out because I didn't seek their permission, but they were indicating that they had sort of utilized this within their own team just to kind of get an idea of what their team's perception was, and it was vastly different than they expected. So it opens up an opportunity to have a dialogue and a conversation, and maybe some of the things that you take for granted in terms of your strengths. You know, Other people look at it as a superpower. And so it's really yeah, illuminating to hear other people's perspective of what you are and what they think you're about. And so I thought this was a phenomenal exercise.
Yeah, I first did it in a team environment. We did it in a sort of corporate environment. But then the next time I did it when I was in a career transition. And I was really struggling to sort of find a new path in my
Yep.
career. And I was disconnected from what I was good at and what I felt that people wanted and needed from me. And this was just a great way to go out and talk to people who had an experience of me, to ask them, what do you think I should do? What do you
Yeah.
think I'm good at? What do you think I would excel at? What do you think the world needs from me? And I was just shocked at some of the responses, and it really did inform some of my decisions in that critical time. So it's something you can do in a team, but it's also something you do, for your own personal benefit. So I recommend, if October wasn't the right month to do it, put it on your calendar to do it in another month where maybe you have some time to do it. Circle back around to it because it really can, I think, open up some new insights for
Yeah,
yourself.
absolutely.
And then, I had this really great chat with Donna Carlin. We wanted to talk about assessments because when we start talking about who are you, that's maybe one of the first things people start to think. Well, I took
Yeah.
this assessment and it told me that I was, an innovator. And so Donna and I had this great conversation about what assessments are good for and what they're really not good for. And wow, she's such a dynamic coach and she has a lot of resources. So you'll see down here when you scroll down all of these resources that she provided for free assessments that you can take. And then also some things that we mentioned in our discussion. And as she does mention, you have to take your results with a grain of salt because a lot of these assessments, they're not fully accurate and they can change on a day by day basis. I thought that was just an enlightening conversation with her.
Absolutely. You guys did a fantastic job. In fact, actually, one of the benefits of this membership is one of the things we do within the membership is offer up office hours. And I had those this past Friday and actually got to an opportunity to have a coaching, mini coaching session with one of our members. And they were commenting on how powerful the session was that you and Donna did, but then how much they benefited from the free assessments that she provided, right? The CVI that was the initial one that I think she recommended. It really opened up her eyes in terms of how what those results revealed. And she's actually working with another coach, and she said, I can't wait to have our next session because I want to share some of this because I think it could really help inform some of the work we do together going forward. So it became a really good resource, which is ideally what we're wanting to do with these types of things, right? Is to provide so much really delicious value for our members, and have tools and resources like this that you can come back to and utilize. And like we've said, you've got this available to you for the whole next year, right? And it was a really, really fantastic session. So I loved it. I enjoyed it. Had a good time taking an assessment, and I plan to go back and do a few others just because it really was eye opening.
Yeah, and I took that core values index assessment that she recommends. Just she put a link to the free assessment, sort of like a condensed version. And you know what? I was not surprised by the results, which is maybe a good sign. I mean, you can that I know myself. I would be really interested in taking those results back to Donna, and I might do that, or maybe just adding some comments in this section and asking her a few more questions about what to do with the information now. But I know that you took it also, and it's always amazing to compare notes when you two people who work together take it,
Yeah.
because then you get to glean not only information about yourself, but maybe information about your relationship.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just a really generous offering that we had here with Donna. I can't wait to talk to her again. We end the month, Gujan Bergman, who did a setting sail session. I mean, this is not very long, at 8 minutes, but wow, it's so powerful to
Yeah.
really really synthesize everything that we were talking about this month and then some. So I loved how he was talking. He had three things he was talking about this month. It was the problem with transformation, which I thought was just right spot on.
Yep.
And then a dirty little secret about coaching, which also was insightful. And then embracing who you are and reframing your perceived shortcomings so that we can release this sort of attachment we have to always feeling like we have to fix ourselves to be like other people.
Yeah.
Love his tone and he has such a compassionate energy too. So I always feel like I'm in good hands when I'm
Yep.
watching Gujan's videos.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job. I get the pleasure of being able to see these things before everybody else does because I'm recording them. But the whole time I see myself because I'm not in the video itself, but I'm behind the scenes and I can see my reaction and my response. Like, yep, yeah, everything he's hitting on is like right on. And so it's such a perfect way to end the month, right? With how he frames this all up and really continues to get you to keep thinking about what you've experienced over the past month.
Yeah, totally. Let's talk about the events that we had during the month. I'm going to go right back here to October and scroll down to this events area.
Yep.
We did this TED Ripple earlier in the month, and we showed a TED talk with Abigail Spanberger, that she talked about how to connect with people who are different than you. Which when you do a lot of introspection and you're trying to figure out a little bit about who you are, it's important to also think about that in context with other people, that when we're trying to make relationships, we're not always seeking relationships with people who are the same.
Yep.
And so I thought this was just and the discussion that followed this video with our members was really, everyone has such wisdom, and it's a great opportunity for members to share that wisdom, all different kinds of perspectives, people spanning age groups, people spanning geography, and world experience. So this is such an event that I've come to really look forward to.
Yep. Yeah, it's become one of my favorites as well because it's you get so many diverse opinions and approaches in terms of how and what people are picking up from these very amazing gifted TED presenters. And so it's been a lot of fun. We were doing these before we launched the membership, so I knew that this was going to be something that was really going to be a highlight for the membership once we brought it behind the membership wall. And so I'm excited to continue that momentum. And we've got an exciting one, I'm sure, coming up in November as well. So I mean, these things are just great opportunities to show up, have kind of your brown bag lunch, enjoy the presentation, and then have a great conversation with some of your other Ripple members.
Yeah, I think it's events like this that set our membership apart from other memberships. And we do have a
Absolutely.
lot of content that's pre-recorded, but we love these events where you can actually get together live on Zoom with people all over the globe and have this kind of experience together. We do record the TED Ripple, so if you can't make it at that time, we post the video so that you can watch the replay anytime you want.
Yep.
We do that for the seat at the table event as well. And this is actually kind of a relatively new idea that we had when we started the membership. We had sort of an inkling of what we wanted this event to be like, but it sort of, I feel like, has exceeded expectations
Very
on
much
our
so.
part.
Yeah.
And what we envisioned was just bringing together some wise people at the table. And it's not a closed session. So anyone who joins the event is at the table with us. But the event starts with the invited guests having a conversation about a coaching scenario or question. And then it opens up to the group for members to contribute or members to ask additional questions. And the scenarios we come up with for this actually come from members. That's great too. At the beginning of the month, we ask our membership, what do you want to, what questions or dilemmas or scenarios do you want to present at the table? And then we bring those. And so our guests only get a few days to ponder it and bring their best resources, but we invite people who are coaches or teachers or experts in their own realm, so that the conversation is really rich and you get a diverse perspective on the coaching question.
Yeah, with this one, it was, Ali Oni and Lynette Esperanza Robinson that were our invited coaches. And both of them are phenomenal in their own right. In the combination between you and I and them and the scenario that we ended up talking about, I think we could have talked for three more hours. I mean, it was so great. It was so powerful. And so these, like you said, have defied expectations because they've been so rich in terms of the conversation and just the variations of perspective. And that's the beautiful thing about this, is that they're totally unscripted conversations. So nobody knows what the other coaches are going to say or how they'll respond or react to the different scenarios, which means that we all come at things from a different perspective, different, slightly different approach in some capacities. And there's no right or wrong, directions in terms of how we do it. But that's what, is really unique about the scenarios that we outline, is that there's an opportunity for you to take some different perspectives from each of these different, strategies and ideas from each of these coaches. And it really, for those that are able to participate or going back and watching the recorded session, it's pure magic.
Yes, it is. And even, as a coach at the table, I learned so much.
Yep.
Um,
Me too.
so it's a phenomenal event. And then we have our iconic 8-minute ripple. We do these every single month, and for members, they get in free. So our 8-minute ripples are open to the general public for a fee. And then if you're a member, you get in free every single time. That in itself is maybe worth the price of the membership, um, which I think is priced too low, just to be honest.
Yeah.
What a great benefit to be able to attend the 8-minute ripple. We do move these around a little bit because we want everyone to be able to attend at some point. And so we try not to keep them all on the same day of the week every single time, because there's just certain people who can never make it on a Thursday, for
Yeah.
instance. So we've been moving them around. We generally have them at night from 6 to 8 p.m. Central. And we do not record these because of the nature of the event. We are pairing people up into breakout rooms, and people are revealing a lot of personal information during during this event too. So we just want to respect people's privacy and make this event just a really great live experience. And so this is one of the only things right now that we don't offer a replay for. You have to register, and use a special code if you're a member to get in. You have to register regardless. But these, as always, 8-minute ripple does not disappoint.
Yeah.
Always surprising. What a great time this is.
It is. And for those that are like, maybe not familiar with the Ripple membership or the 8-minute Ripple, we created these events as an opportunity to give people a different perspective on the power of connecting, different than you might experience in a business networking environment. So we leverage Ripple, the power of the Ripple connection questions, to really sort of help ease the conversation between two people who may not know one another or know each other very well, and do it in a way that really is fun. It's engaging, and it's amazing how deep you go in 8 minutes. In fact, we always kind of joke, when people experience this for the first time, they're like, oh my God, what am I going to speak to somebody for 8 minutes over? And we provide two very well-placed questions to really get that conversation ball going. And then when people come back, they're inevitably like, oh my God, we didn't get enough time, right? And so it's a really interesting and an insightful experience. You'll learn some great things about, Ripple members and other people that attend through the public links. But you'll get to, experience something like you've probably never even experienced at a networking event. But more importantly, you'll learn something about yourself, how connecting just a little bit differently can really open up a whole lot of doors of opportunity. So whether you're a Ripple member or not, we highly encourage you to definitely check that out, because it's a heck of an experience.
Yeah, it's great. You can leave your elevator pitches and your business cards at home because they're not needed at this event.
Yeah.
We will guide you on what to do instead to get to know other people. And ultimately, you will leave the event having made connections with people that are more memorable and more meaningful than you ever would at a traditional networking event. So, whether or not you are in business, an entrepreneur, or you're working for a corporation as a professional or an employee, or you're just someone who wants to have more connection in your life and make friends, this event works for all of those
Yes.
kinds of people, because we're talking about things that are ultimately interesting, more interesting than what you do for a living.
Yep.
This is probably, I think, a keystone of the whole ripple effect movement. And I cannot recommend it enough. Totally worth the price of admission, especially if it's free for you.
Yeah.
But then you mentioned your office hours, and at least once a month, you're dedicating some space to what I think we call like a brief coaching approach. So these are really quick calls. They're like a 20-minute call. But this is what members can enjoy, this one on one time with you as a benefit of being a member, and really get to the heart of something very quickly and walk away with next steps. You're not going to solve the world's problems in these sessions, but you are going to get the key actions that you will take next. And it's a wonderful way to jiggle things loose and get unstuck and get moving on something moving forward.
Yep.
How's it been going?
It's been going great. I mean, we've experienced this in a couple of different scenarios and kind of different individuals raising, different things that they're looking for and they're needing, which is always fun. I love that because I like coming into a scenario with sort of a completely open mind and having this put on the table so that we can discuss it. Whether it's considering a career shift or change. We've talked about that with one of the members, how to figure out what that personal brand really needs to be. That was another session that we did. And then, as of this past week, actually, we talked about business strategy for scaling a particular new service for a business. And so there really is no limit to the types of scenarios that you can put on the table. 20 minutes does seem like a really short period of time, but it's amazing how quickly we can dive in and really get to the heart of what as our members are trying to accomplish or what they're looking to do. And like you said, a lot of times it's a matter of just, needing a word of encouragement, or maybe helping reveal a potential blind spot maybe they're not seeing. Anything that I've experienced relative to these types of sessions is just having someone that you can share something with, that you come to the table, new idea, uh, you know new strategy, potential problem that you're dealing with that maybe you don't feel like you've got someone within your personal, your professional network that you can ask these questions to. I think these sessions become really valuable for that. And of course, at the end of the day, it's like if somebody needs additional help or they want to schedule additional time, then we certainly can talk about that and get them signed up for a coaching relationship with me one-on-one. But these have proven to be really fun, and I'm getting as much from them as I hope the members are getting from me. So it's been a lot of fun for me.
Well, I want to just talk about some of our sort of stable offerings here. We have a new member start here area. So when you're a new member, you can click here, and there's a series of topics here. We have a little tour to find your way around. We have a few membership rules, not too many, and we have a what to expect section. So this just kind of tells you a little bit more about the membership. And then for people who are brand new to the ripple effect and they want to know a little bit more about what this is all about, we do have this Ripple Effect 101 little course here. So, what is the ripple effect? A different approach to connection and a relationship toolbox. So, these are things as well. These are optional if you're already familiar with the ripple effect. But I say go in. These are short little videos, and you might just learn something new about Steve Harper. You might just learn something new about the ripple effect. Or if you have questions, each area offers a comment section for you to ask questions. So it's a great welcome for new members just to get oriented. I do put a few links to these things in the welcome email as well. So hopefully, as a new member, if you have any questions or feel confused, you can always reach out to us. Our email addresses are right here in the sidebar. And then I wanted to share this resource vault that we have. So we're always, when people are recommending books or we get guest coaches with resources, we populate these areas with books, courses, podcasts, blogs, and other amazing things. And then every month we try to do a member spotlight. And these are really fun because Steve, you're having like these little mini interviews with members and asking them the same each person gets the same questions. It's a little bit like Stephen Colbert's question, the Colbert questionnaire.
Yeah.
And so they're really fun questions and people will answer them slightly differently every time. But man, what a great way to get to know members.
Yep. Yeah, no, this has been a lot of fun to do. Both Janet and Rami have been phenomenal in terms of their approach to the questions and just some insights that I even learned about them. I knew them before they joined the Ripple membership, but this process is really designed to get people feeling comfortable with certain members that they may not know. And as I found out over the weekend, we had a member that had seen Rami's spotlight and said they were more encouraged to reach out to him because of this. It gave him an opportunity to give a little bit of insight before they actually took the chance to reach out and connect, which was great. I mean, that's exactly what we're looking to do is try and highlight the great genius of some of our members, and eventually we'll have a whole library of these, but we're trying to just highlight one a month and continue on down the road. But I've really enjoyed this process.
Yeah, they're so fun. The questions are really fun.
Yep.
So not all serious questions like you might expect. But then, if you do want to reach out to a member, we always on the sidebar have this box right here. And when you click it, you get directed into a member area. You'll notice that it opens up in a new browser window. But here is the opportunity for Ripple members to add themselves to this directory. A little tutorial. When you click the add button, you'll need to click the sign up button. This is like a third-party app that we use for this. And for security reasons, people need to sign up for it and agree to some terms for the membership or for this member directory, just so that everybody is clear on what the terms are for the proper use of this directory, which is not a lead list. But a wonderful way to get to know other members and connect with them in a genuine way, to reach out and make a ripple, to be generous and offer them something that maybe they commented on in the forums. Maybe they're looking for some help with something and you have a resource for them. Or maybe they're in an industry that you're really interested in and you want to just get to know a little bit more about them and their work or anything else about them. This is a great way to connect. And you can see a lot of our members have put a profile up here in our member directory. So just a wonderful place. Speaking of forums, just wanted to click here to the forums. This is also in the sidebar where you can just click to get in here. We have different topic areas, what place to introduce yourself. We make a new area, a new topic for every month's theme. So when you have questions or comments about the theme, those can go in these areas. We created an accountability hub, resource sharing, and then a membership and member area questions. I think this is maybe where we'll we'll put the recaps
Yep.
um, in this membership and member area questions place. Our member forms very, again, trying to keep it simple. It's very simple to do. When you click into any one of these topics, you'll find threads. We've pinned a few to the top, and then it's just like a threaded conversation that you can, add and add your comments. So this is a great way to go a little bit deeper than the member directory in this introductions thread to get to know each other. And then
Yeah,
there's
it's been a
a
lot of
few.
fun to see different people's responses and reactions to both some of the actions that we've done, the activities we've put forward for them to consider doing, as well as just some of the topics that have just bubbled up to the surface that are important to our Ripple members.
Yeah, and we're trying to come up with unique challenges too, like discussions and challenges for people to kind of give us a fun way to participate in the topic. You can also just click the feed button and see what the newest posts are. You have to kind of look into when you click on the three dots, you'll get some options to follow the posts, copy links to the posts. When you make a new post, you have some options. So just kind of snoop around and figure things out. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me. You can search the community for keywords here too. So just a really nice basic forum. What else? Announcements. So when you sign up as a Ripple member with your email address, when Steve or I create an announcement, which we do once or twice a week, we always choose to email those announcements to the email that you used when you signed up for the membership. So once or twice a week, we'll send out an email that has some key links to new things that have happened since the last announcement, just so that you don't have to feel like you have to stay vigilantly logged in looking for new content. This is a great way. We'll just give you these emails from time to time to let you know what's new, what you should be checking out now, so that you don't have to feel like you have to stay tuned in all the time to the membership. This can give you some shortcuts to the new stuff. And it's great because you'll get it by email, but it always lives here in this announcements area as well. So if you happen to not get the email, you can come to your membership and click on the announcements box and just kind of scan through here and see if there's something recent that we've posted that you want to check out.
Yeah, it's a great way to, stay on top of everything. Like you said, when you scroll down there, yeah, it's right there located on the sidebar, which is super convenient. I had a member that was looking for something the other day, and I said, "Hey, just go to the announcements because we call it out there." And they were like, "Oh, this is really super convenient and easy." And we realized, we've tried to keep, as Cynthia mentioned, we've tried to keep everything very super simple and easy to navigate. But there is a lot of information. There's a lot of content that we've put out there, and the worst thing we'd want to have happen is you not feel comfortable or can't find something. So that's where we would definitely want you to reach out to us and say, "Hey, this is what I'm struggling with," or "This is, I'm having difficulty navigating to this particular thing." We want to make sure that everyone knows that we are available to you. It's part of the, certainly the value of the membership is, we want to be, really good hosts of this content and information. And so, Cynthia, how do people connect with us if they need that assistance?
Well, our email addresses are clickable and they're right here in the sidebar.
Yeah.
So, Steve at ripplecentral.com and Sin at ripplecentral.com. And obviously, I'm working heavily on the community side of the membership. So things like how to navigate, how to post something, the sort of logistics of the membership, that's sort of my genius area. So anything having to do with just getting around and getting what you need in Ripple membership is my lane. Now, if you have questions that are more about like what you'd like to see in the Ripple membership, or maybe a response to some content that we posted, or a question for Steve, then just reach out to Steve, because
Yep.
he's really interested in knowing how to make this membership better, how to make it exactly what our members need and want in a membership environment like this, and we're open. We're only in month 2 of this
Yeah.
membership. So we are creating it as we go and implementing improvements all the time based on the feedback that we're getting from members.
The exciting thing about it, I think, however, is that we have really hit on something that I think a lot of our members are really resonating with. I've had a few folks that have commented about being involved in other membership oriented type environments and just how vastly different this is. And like you said at the very beginning, it's a buffet, right? You come in and take advantage of the things that are of interest to you on that particular day. Leave everything else. It'll be there for you. You can come back at your leisure, which is fantastic, but we are really trying to provide a rich, really thoughtful experience for everyone. But if you have ideas on ways to make it better, or some things that you think that would just be the next great idea to include in this, like Cynthia said, it's an ever evolving process, right? Part of what we want to do is create this environment where our members feel like they're co-creating with us, and having the opportunity to have that voice at the table to say, hey, I think you need to do this, or I think this might be a good addition or a good idea to try. The whole process of what we're trying to do here is really create a really rich content experience with some amazing coaches and subject matter experts, and really delivering a really fun environment for people to connect, not only with the content, but with one another, which really creates a true sense of community, which I think is very unique for a lot of, what people perceive as a membership out there. We want people to really feel like they belong here. So we are excited for, that feedback when you want to provide it for us, because we are continuing to make tweaks and adjustments, like Cynthia said, to continue to make the experience awesome.
Yeah, and if you're a subject matter expert, or a
Yeah.
subject matter expert who would be perfect for a masterclass or a seat at the table, we have these opportunities. We are busy to filling our our agenda for the rest of the year, and we have monthly topics. So we would just want to have a conversation with people who are interested to see if what they're planning, what they would like to offer, fits in with some of our themes, and figure out if there's an opportunity to collaborate. We're always happy to hear about those ideas and opportunities and people who are wanting to pitch in and contribute.
Yeah. And lastly, if someone that you think would benefit from the Ripple membership, but you are not quite sure how to do what kind of sort of summarize all the great stuff that we're doing, introduce them to me, and I'm happy to set up a call and explain what we're trying to create. I had, in our office hours meeting this past week, I had one of our members say how she has been so pleasantly surprised. She wasn't sure what she was getting into. She was kind of excited, but a little worried about what it was that she was signing up for when we launched in September, and has just kind of been blown away. But she's having a hard time sort of illustrating to her network why they need to be looking at this. And so we're happy to, set up one-on-one, conversations with those individuals, and truly try and make this an environment where it's really, really welcoming of anybody who might be curious. The goal behind this is to create really positive actions in an environment where you can be supported by other people who want to do the same. And so we'd love to continue to expand the membership and add new people. There's no geographic limit to where people can join from. We've got people in Spain. We have people in Canada. I know there's a few folks that are hopefully going to be joining in this upcoming month from both New Zealand and Australia, as well as Mexico. So, I mean, there's no limit to where folks can join and become part of this international community. But if you know someone that you think could really benefit from what we're creating here, let us know, and we'll be happy to have a conversation with them to make them feel welcome and comfortable with all that we have developed here with the Ripple membership.
And just, personally speaking, I think the average spend on professional development and organizations is around $1,000 a year for each
Yeah.
employee. And I just think this would be a great way to offer some professional development in the realm of creating a culture of connection in your organization.
Yep.
And for the annual fee that we're charging, this is a fraction of what you might spend on professional development. So if your budget is $1,000 per employee per year, you could offer this to your team and
Yeah,
still have money left over for a lot of other kinds of professional development opportunities. So, I'm just curious to know if there's organizations out there with teams that want to join the membership together and really be using this as a way to generate conversations internally. If they start at the same time, then that's something they could actually take offline and digest together as a team. I just think it would be a tremendous opportunity for teams.
absolutely. Some of these topics that we're covering, these themes that we've outlined for each of these months, have real applicability in the corporate world, right? And an opportunity to create that sense of community within your own internal culture. And that, like you said, that sense of ripple being sort of the rally cry to get people together and engaged. And if they're experiencing these activities and this great, really delicious content that they're getting an opportunity to participate with as an individual, then that only makes those conversations that they can have collectively as a team back at the office all that much more rich. And so
Mhm.
that's one of the things that we're super excited about. So if you happen to know an organization or you happen to work for an organization that you think could really benefit from this, would you make an introduction? Because we would love to have a conversation and explain why we think this could be a better approach to some of that personal and professional development programs that HR people and executive teams are really struggling with right now. So it's an excellent point that you bring up there, Cynthia, for sure.
And I think we do sweeten the pot a little bit for teams of 10 or more. So, I
Yes,
mean, if you bring 10 people, we try to make it, we try to offer a benefit there in terms of cost. So, I know everybody's struggling a little bit with the economy right now and unsure of where they should place their budgets. So, we try to make it like as easy as can be
very much
to be
so.
part of something that, really is leveraging your personal time. I mean, you're in attendance at all of these events. You're offering the coaching office hours one on one. You're participating in a lot of every master class. So this is Steve Harper time that you're talking about. So the price of membership is total bargain.
Well, I
Total
appreciate that.
bargain.
Thanks for saying that for sure. Well, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you for all the hard work and effort that you've put into this. I mean, the last 2 months have just defied expectations. I think before we launched, I had one rally cry, which was to delight and amaze. You're a big part of why that's happening for our members. And so if you're not yet a Ripple member, I highly encourage you to check it out because I think you're missing out on something that could be really special and really make a difference in your personal and your professional life in a huge way. And so, Cynthia, keep up the great work. I mean, as we look forward to our upcoming month of November and just everything that we've got jam packed into a really phenomenal month, it just makes me smile because there's so much good stuff coming. But this Ripple recap was just a great opportunity for us to sort of do a quick download about everything that we've done in the month of October, but to give you just an idea as a member, maybe some of the things that you aren't taking advantage of or maybe aren't necessarily kind of diving full stream into. But this is an opportunity for you to go back at any point and absorb some of that content, some of that information. And if you have never heard of the Ripple membership or you've been thinking about it but just quite haven't pulled the trigger, hopefully this gave you some insight as to all the hard work and effort that we're putting into this to create some really positive, powerful ripples for everybody. So we certainly appreciate you joining us today for this Ripple recap, and we'll do it again. We will be back, and every month we're going to plan on getting together just like this to have a conversation specifically around that months of Ripple. But we thought this was a great idea now that we've had a couple of months under our feet to give kind of a high level overview of all the great things that we're doing through the portal, through the forums, through the membership directories, and all of these different environments that we've created in order to make this a very unique and powerful experience. So we appreciate it. And what else can we say, Cynthia? Let's just keep rippling on, right?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Just letting you know, it's just been a pleasure to create this community together, and I can't wait to launch November tomorrow.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. You guys go out there, make a difference in the world, make a difference in someone's life. You'll actually end up making a difference in your own life. And as always, ripple on.